Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Thursday Things. And tonight, my special guest host is Samiel the Infamous.
Greetings, salutations.
There you go.
Thank you for being here tonight. Now, before we get into everything, I want to find out what everyone's sipping on. So, let's start with my co-host. You know him as that guy at the end of the bar. How are you feeling tonight, sweetie? And what are you sipping on?
We're not quite at Friday yet, so I'm kind of tired. But other than that, I'm feeling pretty good. And I'm sipping on nothing. I'm broken.
Well, I can fix that.
So you tell me, what am I sipping on?
You are going to be sipping on a cherry Coca-Cola.
There we go. Thank
He's
you.
Literally 4 feet in front of me, so I just can hand it over.
Exactly.
And of course, our special guest tonight, Samiel. What are you sipping on tonight?
It's just water for me.
That's
I'm
like
very, very easygoing that way. So
I've got the Rockstar Pure Zero. I got a little bit of a headache. The caffeine helps.
Yeah, exactly. So there you go.
And that is how we are doing. So
I thought you were going to say, and that was our show. Thanks for going.
Looks like my screen changed and I didn't have my chat up. There we go.
Yep.
So let us see.
Looks like you two are the first ones in here.
Yes, we are. And then we have Logical Spock. How you doing tonight, sweetie?
Peace and long life, Spock.
And I'd like to know what the chat is sipping on. So if you want to drop that in there, that'd be great. We have Connie Clary.
Hi, Connie.
I know we don't have too many people in right now. Deleted Scenes. How you doing, sweetie?
Oh, you off work already? Good to see you, my friend.
Evelyn Hampton.
Good
evening.
evening.
Good evening, Admiral. Disney Sheepherder.
Howdy in Hale. Smashing that like button and hoping to stay a while. Good. Awesome. Glad you're here.
Lester San Jose. The Skeptic Tank. I love that name.
Howdy, sir.
Pacific 414. How you doing,
Good
sweetie?
to see you, sir.
And I think that catches us up. So, chat, what are you sipping on?
Yeah.
Drop that in the comments. I'd like to know. Lester San Jose says he's drinking coffee.
There you go. And Hapla Ej Muknesh Gorilla Random Thoughts. Welcome. And yes, we
got to exchange the Klingon.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, if someone greets you in Klingon, you got to respond in kind.
Where's the chocolate?
Actually, I was just going to point you towards the bottom of the refrigerator there, but I actually ate the last of it, so we got to restock.
Did.
Lawrence Knight, I spy with my two eyes a Samiel sipping on a seltzer water. See, there you go. That's punching it up a notch.
There you go.
At least got bubbles in it.
So, of course, my first question is, how did you become the Infamous?
Well, there's a little bit of a story about that. It's not a terribly long one. So, Samiel, not to be confused with Samiel, is the name of an obscure fallen angel from Kabbalistic angelology and that sort of thing. Referred to sometimes as the blind. Didn't fall so much as sauntered vaguely downwards. And generally regarded as someone who only sees in black and white, which has been a consistent issue for me throughout my life. So, seemed like a good name. It's been a handle I've used in games and on the internet for decades now. So, but initially my channel name wasn't Samiel the Infamous. It was Hentai Surprise, which is a Skyrim joke. That one's actually a bit of a long story, but it's not as dirty as it sounds, folks.
I was gonna say that could be pretty nasty depending on how you're looking at it.
It is. There's a final boss in one of the DLCs who gifts you with a staff that causes poisonous tentacles to erupt under the ground of your enemies, and I renamed it the Staff of Hentai Surprise, and that's where the joke comes from. Okay,
so that's not a very long story.
It seemed longer in my head. I got involved with the young lady on the internet a few years ago. Name of Amira, goes by Exiled Linus, Exiled, what have you.
Right.
Around the time of the last presidential election, and started commenting on her channel. And one day I woke up and I found I had a wrench, and then the next thing I know, I'm backstage producing the show, and we're really good friends now. But early on, when I first started going on to her panels, I went under the moniker of Hentai Surprise, and she sent me an email at one point detailing how, given the conservative nature of her programming and her image and all that stuff, she couldn't really be associated with somebody who basically had the name for Japanese porn in his handle.
I kind of see it.
yeah. So, and I got it, and I, because she was my friend, because we were getting pretty close and all that stuff. I changed it for her, so I went back to my old gaming handle. But at one point before I changed the handle, she referred to me as hentai, the infamous hentai, and that's where the infamous comes from. Was line that she threw. So I took my old gaming handle and I slapped the infamous onto the end of that, and that's how we get to where we are today.
Oh,
cool.
You Northsiders, Cubbies.
PJ saying, "Go Cubbies!"
Yeah, hi PJ,
today.
welcome. So Netter's wearing her Cubbies shirt tonight, and the joke, if we don't really talk sports on this channel because neither one of us are truly sports fans, but if pushed, she'll say that she's a Cubs fan and I am a Sox fan. That's primarily because my grandparents were Southsiders, so my grandfather was a huge Sox fan, so that meant my mother was a Sox fan, I was a Sox fan. But neither one of us really gives a flying fig about sports at all. So, in fact, there was one point where both teams were actually doing really, really well, and somebody said, someone from out of town said, "What happens if both the Cubs and the Sox make it into the Super Bowl?" I said, "Chicago would just tear itself down. There'd be another Chicago fire. We'd be screwed." I mean, really.
PJ says, "Yeah, I'm a Northsider."
Yeah, you. Because you guys are the rich people. You guys live in the ritzy neighborhood. I'm from the South Side, the old neighborhood.
Well, I was kind of like near north, so like.
Yeah, you were.
And every time I moved, I've gone more and more north.
Yeah, until we got out of the city and
now we're in
the
the burbs.
The suburbs, exactly. And then I guess we got boring because we moved out to the suburbs, right? But,
yeah, because now we're old folks, and
since we're talking about this, and do not give too much information, don't dox yourself, but about what part of the world are you from, Samiel?
Oh, I inhabit the great and vast state of Wyoming.
Nice! Oh gosh, I hear it's beautiful there.
Parts of it are desolate. So there's that.
I don't know. These days, sometimes I feel like desolate is better than living too close to a city these days. Let me tell you.
Well, we have less people in the entire state than most big cities do.
Yeah. I actually see it as a plus, not a minus. As long as you got a decent infrastructure there. If you got an internet connection, you got fairly reliable electricity, stuff like that. I'd say fine.
So you can't be too much in the middle of nowhere, otherwise you won't have that.
Well, that's true, exactly.
Yeah, there's so much middle of nowhere here that we've gotten really good at fiber optic cable and that kind of thing.
Nice.
I've heard it told that Wyoming is really just one small town with really long roads.
Yeah, exactly. How close do you live to if you want to go to the cinema, is that a long trip? Or? Okay, good.
No, we've got all the amenities of modernity. Most people think that we don't, but we do. Most people don't ride horses just to get from point A to point B.
Well, honestly, living here in Illinois, I mean, you could go from the middle of Chicago to farmland in less than an hour.
That's true.
Mean, so we have all the extremes literally in every direction around us. So I don't make any assumptions. You know what I mean?
Well, we have kids on Friday and Saturday nights on extremely souped up crotch rockets from Japan, like very expensive bikes and Italian bikes, and they will race up and down the main drag and all that stuff. But there's also a chance that they're going to hit a pack of antelope at the same time.
Yeah,
both worlds.
Yeah. We don't have antelope, but we have white-tailed deer, and that could be scary. My dad hit one glancing blow one time, doing about 60 on an open road, and it was a bit scary. And my mom's first reaction was, "Oh my God, is the deer okay?" I'm like, the deer got up and jumped over the car over the trunk of the car. I think the deer's fine.
They're tougher than people think they are. Yeah.
Yeah, they're tougher than the car, for crying out loud.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I want to congratulate Disney Sheeper. It says almost 1K. Thanking Orville Nation for the ideas, short and sweet.
Awesome. Yeah, together we grow.
Absolutely.
And by all means, make sure that you guys are following each other. Those of you that got the blue wrenches, make sure you're helping out the others, dropping the links for everybody. You guys are awesome, and that's kind of really what it's all about. Leia Rose, good to see you. Haven't seen you in a while. Welcome. So, yeah, that brings us back to Samiel and your channel. So you kind of gave us a little bit of background, but what actually started you on the YouTube journey?
It actually goes back to before I met Amira.
Sure.
So I had a flip phone for 9 years. Same flip phone. I didn't
want to give up mine because it was so Star Trek,
Yeah.
We still have them.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only reason I did is because after 9 years of abuse, it finally cracked in half. But which of course forced me to go out and get a new phone. Well, the new flip phones I didn't like. I didn't care for how they were set up or all that. So I finally gave in and got a smartphone. I bought a Galaxy S9 4 days before the S10 came out. Didn't know that at the time. I was kind of mad. And I was using it overnight. I was working in a hospital overnights in the surgery department. And I needed something to listen to because I was the only one there besides the ghosts. And so I just started listening to, things on YouTube, like music reactions and that sort of thing. I started getting a little bit more, I had been a little bit more politically aware in years before that because of the way things were going. Obamacare kind of forced me to open my eyes about some things. Yeah. And so I started paying more attention to that sort of thing. And one day, Amira pops up into my thing. But at the same time, I'm also crossing paths with channels like Midnight's Edge, Erotic, Healer versus Babyface, Razor Fist. And so I started listening to more and more of their content as well. And I always kind of admired the Friday Night Tights setup. It's just a bunch of guys hanging out and having a laugh, and they'd get into some serious discussions, but mostly it was just like hanging out with friends on a Friday afternoon. And eventually, when I got a little closer with Amira, she started putting links in the chat and all that stuff, and so I'd take advantage of it. I'd jump up on there, say hello, and talk to her for a little bit, and the more I got used to doing that on her channel, the more I realized that I kind of want to do this. I enjoy doing this. I enjoy talking with people all over the world, and so I decided that I was going to start doing it on my own, which is basically where we ended up. And of course, if you go back and you watch my very first live stream, it's horrendous, the sound quality.
Every YouTuber says that.
I'm over producing, stuff and like nitpicking little things here and there and all that, and it's gotten much better since, as all things do with practice. But,
right.
And so I started a little show called Screaming Into the Void with a couple of friends of mine, one of whom you saw in the chat here, my brother from another mother, Larry, Lawrence Knight, and initially we started having like people that I knew from Amir's chat and stuff come up on there, and eventually we got to a point where it was just me and one of the founding guys. 10th episode rolls around, decided to do one on video games. Reached out to the Hijabi Gamer, and she said she'd come on, and she kind of never left. She's been with us ever since. She's missed one episode. It was recently, and it was a family thing. So
that's reasonable, yeah.
And we just kind of started growing from there, reaching out to other people. I've been making connections. I've got connections with people who have connections with GNG now. I've got I had Corin Nemec from Stargate on my show about 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago.
Nice.
Very nice.
And so we're looking at getting some bigger guests, and it's grown from there. Then one day Larry and I started a separate show, which is on Friday nights, Abyssal Musings. And here a while back, due to some of the connections I made earlier, I started making friends with some other people. like Ryan from Legion Talk, for example.
Yeah.
And he and I and a man named Horny Alf came up with this idea that we were
I've seen him on the social media.
Oh, he's fantastic. He's a really good dude, actually, but he's very sarcastic.
I would imagine.
And so Horny Alf and I had watched season 3 of Picard and had actually enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was good, wasn't it?
So it was. So we decided, so I reached out to Ryan. I was like, hey, have you seen this? Do you want to like maybe do a review of this with me and all that stuff? And he's like, yeah, we could do that. And he didn't let me know yet that he hadn't seen any of it. And so I was like, hey, reach out to Horny Alf. I know he's seen this. He might want to do this too. So the three of us kind of built up what is now turning into one of the bigger shows on any of our platforms. Star Trek Engage, which is on Sundays. Now we've got Adam the Renaissance Nerd is on there with us. We've got Devil Made Me Do It, who is, by the way, one of my favorite people to stream with. That guy's hilarious. Kat has joined us here recently. We've got a new intro coming in. I've seen it without sound, and it's fantastic.
Nice.
Waiting on some things to be finalized and recorded and all that. We're going to start using that. We've got it's turning into a real production, a multi-channel production, and I haven't had so much fun in my whole life aside from being a parent. Good.
Well, and there's another thing. So as a parent, you are very you mentioned that you are very you have become more politically aware. I do know that that you do have commentary on your channel about the State of the Union today and so forth. How are you feeling about the future as a parent, bringing the next generation
good question
into the world and trying to train them to deal with the world?
Well, that's an interesting question. My oldest is a legal adult at this point. And she sees things very differently than I do. It's kind of driven a little bit of a wedge between us. And I don't know. I feel like the younger generations are simply not prepared to survive without us, but they seem to think that they are, and that's going to cause them problems down the road.
Yeah.
I think we've coddled them for too long, and we've allowed things to get to a point where it's going to start getting real bad, and sooner or later we won't be there to help them.
I've definitely seen that. There does need to be a training your children to take care of themselves, and then either letting them take care of themselves or forcing them to take care of themselves. I've always said to younger people, whether it was my stepkids or just younger people that I've met along the way that just didn't see eye to eye with me about the way the world is, look, I've been around significantly longer than you are. I've seen more things. I see the world much more clearly. If you want to predict what's going to happen in the future, look to the past. If you don't know the past, you won't know what's coming. I would learn the easy way and trust me. But if you don't want to trust, at least verify. Look at it yourself. When you start paying taxes, when you start dealing with the world the way it is, you'll start to see things my way. And what I've come to find is that the ones that are not off on their own and taking care of themselves are the ones that get a very socialist kind of mindset, because they've softened enough to, well, as long as someone's taking care of me, I can have these opinions and thoughts and beliefs. And it's like, yeah, you're not the one paying the bills, you're not the one paying the taxes, that tax refund that you're getting, they're giving you your money back. That's not free money, you
exactly
dingbat.
Well, you're talking about your channel and different guests you have. Who would you, if you could get a particular person, who would your big get be? The one you would really like to get on your channel?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you've had some big ones already.
Yeah.
I didn't think Corin Nemec was going to say yes.
Yeah.
And I certainly didn't think that he was going to be on the show 2 weeks after he said yes.
Wow.
And the dude got married 2 weeks after that. So, I mean, I know he's busy.
Wow.
But Right now I'm looking at a few names, mostly people in the sphere that I'm trying to make connections with, but there's a few, like I plan on reaching out to people like Dean Cain, for example.
Wow, that would be awesome.
And if at all possible, maybe even James Woods. We'll see.
Oh, that would be good too.
How that goes. But those are like, that may be a pipe dream. I don't know. I haven't actually reached out to them yet. It's just, an idea I'm toying with at the moment. So, but as far as like down the road, perfect guest ever, I have no idea.
That's fair.
It's an evolving show.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes people are like, oh, I would love to get this person on my channel, and it's like, this would be my big get. So I always ask that one because sometimes people are just like, I really want this person to come on.
And sometimes it's just a matter of speaking it out into the world. Sometimes
that happened to Troy.
Yeah, I mean, tomorrow night I'm going to have Tony Roberts from Analog Toys, and that only came because I was lucky enough to have Michael French from Retro Blasting one time, and I'm like, I'd love to have Tony on my channel. Then sure enough, I send a super chat to one of his streams, and he's like, hey, if you ever want me on your channel, just let me know. I'm like, damn, okay. So, and that's tomorrow night. So, but good. And the other thing too is you never know who knows who. I mean, we got, I don't know.
Exactly.
We got a handful of people right here, right now. You mentioned somebody that you're interested in. Oh, I follow them. I'll tweet that out at them and see if we can't get them on your channel.
Exactly.
You never know what could happen.
And that's part of what this show is about. I may not have a lot of subs, but I know people that you're not going to know.
Right.
And those people know people I don't know. So if you're on my channel, they might go, hey, this guy sounds really good. Check out their channel. They'll tell their friends, who'll tell their friends, and then you get a couple extra subs out of it, which is really nice. And it helps to grow your channel. So, like PJ always says, together we grow. So this is my part in trying to help other YouTubers grow their channel. Because the more people know about you, the more subs you're going to get, the more watch hours you're going to get, and together we grow.
And Samiel, I got an interesting insight from a guest that I had on recently, pointing out that regardless of how big they are, I think the communication and entertainment seem to be changing, and I think a lot of people that you would think would be like big celebrities and whatnot are starting to understand that, and that's why you'll see sometimes people you think are big stars being guests on people's YouTube channels. They're promoting themselves. They're promoting the project they're working on. So I'm thinking about, man, how awesome would it be to get like Brandon Herrera to come on a channel? He's running for Congress now. Get him to talk about him running for Congress, Second Amendment and whatnot. Any of my listeners, maybe I have one listener in Texas that'll vote for him because I get him on my channel. Whatever, Dean Cain, Superman, that would be awesome, right? If he's, because he's involved in politics, right? Isn't he running for sheriff or something locally to him?
I know he's fairly outspoken about his conservatism.
Yeah. So if he's got a campaign going, certainly he might want to get on your channel to talk about that and whatnot. I mean, so you never know. You just never know who might be willing to come on just because, it's if nothing else, they're meeting a fan,
Right.
Yeah, that's been my experience. I am surprised at the number of people that I never thought I would ever cross paths with, that I am crossing paths with, just because I made friends with some people over there. I made friends with this person over here, and all of a sudden I've got connections there. I've made friends with this person here, and that was never my intention. I was just making friends, but it kind of falls into your lap after a while.
True. I'll tell you what, I love what Lawrence just said. He says you can have one sub, doesn't make you any less special.
And
that is true, but you give us one sub, and you make us feel really a lot more special. So
he also said one comment chain created a chain of Linux videos I didn't think I'd make.
That's cool. Yeah, I've heard good things about Linux.
Comments
don't understand
are wonderful.
It at all.
I actually made a vid because somebody commented on my folded sheet video.
Yeah.
That they were having issues trying to get a duvet cover on their duvet. And I was like, oh, it's like putting a pillowcase on. They're like, can you do a video on that?
Yeah.
Sure. So I have to edit it, but I'm going to have a short on the quick, easy way to put on a pillowcase. It works for duvet covers too.
As Troy starts to type, WTF is a duvet. Anyway, but so how many channels would you say that you? Because I know you are very involved. I'd almost say you're like the manager for the right hand of Lioness Exiled, Amira over there.
Yeah,
How many?
She calls me the channel manager. I
Yeah.
just pick myself as a moderator, but yeah, she calls me that. How many channels have I been involved in? Is the question?
That kind of obviously yours, hers, others.
I'm a moderator on a handful of others, but nothing super special. I think Dayslav Actman Carries channel I'm a moderator on.
Sure.
On I think 3 of Ryan's 4 channels I'm a moderator on. But it just it's not as extensively as you might think. I just kind of bounce around the internet a little bit and make friends.
Nothing wrong with that. So, I'm going to ask this question because every time I'm on someone else's channel, they ask me this question, and I think it's a fair one. It's a fair question to ask. It's a difficult one to answer. What are your plans for your channel? Where do you see it going? Like in the near future,
yeah.
extended future?
He stole that question from me.
Oh, sorry.
I actually have an answer for it too.
Oh, good.
It's been because it gets brought up in conversation offline quite a bit. I don't have like a specific plan necessarily. Like I'm not looking at it like, oh, I need to get monetized at this level. I need to be doing this at that level. My entire goal in starting this was to have fun. That's it. It was to have conversations and have fun. As much as I would like to at some point be monetized, that's not the end goal. That would be like a cherry on top. But I actually like my small audience for the most part because it allows me to interact directly with them and to keep them involved in the conversation more fully than it would be if I were like pulling G&G's numbers, for example, where the chat's going by so fast you can't even see it. So I do prefer that approach, but the main goal really is just to have conversations and to make connections and to talk to people. It's altered a little bit. It started out, the main show, Screaming Into the Void, started out as something where we would just talk about anything at all. Like early on, we talked a little bit about faith and parenting and cryogenics and the physics behind black holes and just like whatever came up.
Yeah.
But it's gotten a little bit more political. It's gotten a little bit more focused on the darker side of things in the world today, WEF and WO stuff. There's a lot of that stuff. That's actually why Mr. Nemec came on. It's because he's very much paying attention to that side of things as well.
Good.
And as bleak as that kind of conversation gets, and it does, it gets dark. We go to some dark places sometimes.
Yeah.
I think it's necessary, one way or the other, because even if we can't say what the only real solutions are out loud on social media, because we'll be silenced immediately.
Right.
Even if we can't say these things out loud, it's good that people hear it, because then people will see it for what it is and see it coming and be better prepared for it. And so that's really kind of been the focus lately. I would like to get back to more fun stuff at some point too, but it's just, everything kind of goes back to the same thing.
No, I hear you. Do you feel like you're having an impact?
Oh, that's a good question.
I honestly hadn't considered that as a concrete thing.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe more of an ethereal, as a thought experiment, sure, but I'd never really considered that as a concrete thing. But I have heard from several subscribers recently that they are looking into things now that they wouldn't have considered looking into before. So I suppose I am.
Yeah.
awesome.
I'm glad to hear that, because I feel like, especially given some of the topics you talk about, that is the value of what you're doing. You know, I have gotten some feedback where, I mean, let's face it, even just talking pop culture, right? You're still talking culture. And there's a lot of channels out there that make a lot of clicks off of, you know, bashing this, bashing that, negative, negative, negative. But what I've gotten in feedback from a lot of regular followers is, you know, you say kind of some of the same things that other channels do, but you say it in a way that's not just complaining. You explain why you feel the way you do, how things could be different. Yep. You go out of your way to point out when things are good. You know, I always try to find the white pills. You know, I mean, if I'm going to complain about, you know, the way things are, I could say, but you know what? Here's the silver lining. Here's something that gives me hope, you know. And just last week, you know, Netter and I, after one of our streams, we jumped over to, you know, listen to Amira and whatnot. I said, you know what? Amira is like a white pill. I look at this kid, and I don't mean that diminutively. She's, you know, comparatively to Netter and I, she's a kid, you know. Mm-hmm. But she is the next generation. And she has wisdom beyond her years. Wisdom that I thought did not exist in her generation anymore, you know. So to hear her on the YouTube talking about it, I'm like, you know, one light in the darkness, you know. So, yeah, that is my white pill for the night, folks. Welcome, Shadowhawk. Oh, Shadow of Hawk.
Yeah, I was like, you missed a word in there, sweetie.
Yeah.
Please call him Shadow for short.
Or Shad. No, that's another YouTuber. But, yeah.
I think he'd be more than happy to be confused with Shad.
That's a good channel, too, though, by the way.
Yeah.
In fact, now, because of a thumbnail that Shadiversity did, a lot of his fans are going, you got to do a collab with Viva La Dirt League.
Oh, that would be cool.
Wouldn't that be awesome? Yeah, that would be great.
I didn't know. I knew that Viva La Dirt League has a substantial fan base, but I didn't personally know anybody that I knew who actually watched their stuff too. They're hilarious.
Oh yeah. And Netter, they had like what was it, some sort of crowdfund or something.
They had a Kickstarter to raise. Their goal was to raise $1 million so they can buy a building, be able to do their own sets and all that. They went, I want to say it was like 2.5 was the end money, and they were just like blown away that so many people had given funds, because we subscribed to it or gave money for it, and and they would call out certain ones when they're seeing all the money's coming in. They're watching it live, and they're like, this person just gave $1,000. This person gave $2,500. They're just going nuts. And when the final tally came in, they're like totally blown away. They're like, it was something like 2.5 million. And now they've got their building. They started doing skits in house.
And this is what I'm always talking about when I'm talking about the independent entertainment and whatnot. It's like, look, we live in an era where we can walk away from Hollywood, we can walk away from television, and we can go to YouTube, find people that we enjoy, and support them directly, I mean, and real quick, I did want to get a clarification. I probably agree with you, Shadow, but when you say Amira's channel is really good, minus the Manosphere stuff that sometimes comes up, I probably agree with you, but when you say Manosphere, what do you mean by Manosphere?
Well, what I think he's referring to, because I've had several conversations with Shadow of Hawk about it. What I think that he's referring to is the same thing that I have a problem with, which is the far extreme MGTOW stuff that's really just an echo of
I getcha.
feminism.
Yep.
It's the stuff where all women are terrible and we should just walk away from them, except to spend all of our time online and denigrate them. That crap.
Yeah, I mean, how is that any better? And this is something that I've said in many. I'm walking away from a lot of pointless online conversations with people because it's very clear I'm talking to a brick wall. I'm wasting my time. But when I've talked to people in my real life that are very other side of the aisle, and they'll say something, I try to always hold a mirror up to them. Not a mirror, a mirror. But I suppose that would work too, actually. And say, look, what you are saying as a fourth wave feminist about men, how is that right? For you to say that about men, wouldn't it be just as wrong for them to say it about you? You don't gain the high ground, by getting into the mud with them. So the same thing would be true, for guys like that it's like, look, that's the incels they talk about, right? You have decided to just walk away from any kind of relationship. So why even moan and complain about it?
That's generally my feeling on the matter too. Is that, look, I get walking away. I get focusing on yourself first. I understand that. That makes sense to me. What doesn't make sense is then turning around and denigrating the entire sex because one of them did you dirty or you had a bad interaction. And I'd say the same thing to a feminist who said bad stuff about all men. It's not. That's, first of all, you're judging an entire group of people on the actions of a few interactions that you had, which is completely,
I don't care if you're doing that because of gender or because of color or religion. You paint everybody because you put them in that pigeonhole. You're the problem, not them. I want to thank you, Disney Sheepherder. I don't have the words. Your community had a lot to do with this. Thanks again. Yeah. Congratulations, man!
1,000 subs.
But as a rising tide raises all ships. So, hopefully you can give us a shout out at some time. Maybe help us out with subs and whatnot. But like PJ always says, together we grow, right?
Right. So. It's the subs, it's the comments, it's thumbs upping on a stream.
Yeah.
It's watching, somebody, like a couple of vids on somebody's stream. All of that helps. So please sub to everybody that's in the chat. Sub to our guest. If you think you're sub to somebody, double check that you still are, because YouTube likes to take subs away. I just got a couple more subs. Let's see if I still have them tomorrow.
Yeah. So here, bringing these two things together, right? It's social, right? This is social media, right? When PJ says together we grow, we're all hitting the like button for each other. We're subscribing to each other. Yeah, thanks so much, Chad. Yeah, sometimes you subscribe to channels, you forget that you're following them, right? I'll go to somebody's channel. Oh, I'm already subscribed. Well, let me hit that notification bell so I remember that I'm following that person.
The comment that I just highlighted.
YouTube being effing wacky. Yeah. Oh, fucky wacky. Okay, that's funny. Yeah. But yeah, really.
That's really sweet.
Samuel, let's shout out and Troy. Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you. That's so sweet.
Yeah, it's. Well, I have to make sure that I watch on the rerun then, because I'm also streaming on Friday. It is. It's like I just said. A rising tide raises all ships. I was thinking about this today because I was thinking about marketing and commercials and whatnot, and how the network system used to work. I say used to because I feel like it's dying. It's going away. Terrestrial television is pretty much going away. Even cable is going away. And this idea that if I'm watching this channel because I watch this show, I am not watching this channel and this show. That went away a long time ago because, we've had the ability to record, and watch later and so forth. And then once streaming hit, all bets were off. If I missed a show, I could watch it at my leisure whenever. And that's way, way true with YouTube. Throughout the day, I'll get my little notification. Big Al just dropped a 10-word review. I'll go to that and click to save for later. I don't know. Gray Still Plays just dropped a 15-minute video of him torturing himself in Grand Theft Auto. So I'll put that on, and I have to do it for watch later because we want to watch it when we're together. You know, we're working separately, so at night when we get together, we'll run through this long list of stuff that we put on, you know, watch later. And if I'm streaming on Friday, there's got to be at least 6 other channels that I love that I can't watch because I'm streaming myself. But you better believe the next day I'm going to go back and hit the like button and listen. Maybe I listen to you on double speed so you sound like a chipmunk, but I will listen, you know? But
absolutely. I would say, going to a point that you made earlier, with you know, cable television on the way out, with you know, the strikes in Hollywood and pretty much everything falling apart in the mainstream industrial side of entertainment. And we're also seeing that more people are going to places like YouTube, places like Twitter, and content creators instead of going to like mainstream news outlets, for example. We are the media.
We have become it.
Yeah.
We sure have, yeah.
You know, we've filled that niche. You know, and part of that is because, you know, things have been failing on that side for some time. Part of that is because we can no longer trust corporate sources.
Well, even if you just think in terms of entertainment, right? Movie reviews, right? Who did you go to for movie reviews? Maybe it used to be Siskel and Ebert, right?
It was Siskel and Ebert and Leonard Maltin when I was a kid, yeah.
Sure. Michael Medved was another one that I've always really liked. In fact, the joke that I've always made, it's not really a joke, it's actually true. Siskel and Ebert, I'd listen to them and kind of still use them as an evaluation tool of whether or not I was going to go see a movie, but if they didn't like, for example, Star Wars, I was going to freaking go see Star Wars, you know. Michael Medved, if he didn't like a movie, I probably shouldn't be seeing it because he liked everything I liked and he didn't like all the things I didn't like. And the one time I went to see a movie he didn't like, I was like, I want to see that movie though. I'm going to go see it. I got to the end of the movie. I'm like, I should have skipped this one. I'm going to listen to Michael Medved more often. You know, it's just, who do you agree with, right? Well, now we have so many more options that we can trust, that we know aren't being bought by the studios now. You know?
I think the some numbers came out here recently, and the most watched and most trusted movie critic in the world currently is the Critical Drinker.
Amen! A friggin' man! You know, he's
seeing numbers that no one else, even corporate media, is seeing right now.
And he is being, I saw him, he was interviewed on, some big mainstream news outlet. He was on with Russell Brand over on Rumble. He's been on with Viva Fry and Robert Barnes on the Law channels. He's kind of, it's like one of us has cut through and blurred the lines, you know, and that's good to see. And I know that, you know, when I watch, you know, some of my favorite YouTubers that do reviews, it's like, I know, even if I'm not going to agree with them, I know whether or not I'm going to agree with them. So I'll hear what they have to say and then maybe do the opposite. Or I know that if they say it's good to see, then maybe I'll just go see it. I was on the fence whether or not to see this new Marvel film, but like you said, Critical Drinker said it sucked. I'm just not going to waste my time.
Well,
you know?
and that's the thing. The reason that he's the most popular is because he's honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If he likes something, even if you don't like it, if he likes it, he's going to tell you that he does. If he doesn't like something, even if you do, he's going to tell you that he doesn't and why. You know.
And this gets back to what, like I said, I've had some people say about me. It's not just complaining. It's laying out why. And he doesn't just review, he gives an analysis. And it's a good analysis. And he does it in such an entertaining way. You go in with, he's got that, you know, that drunken North Islander, you know, type thing going on. But he's still got some really intelligent, well thought out commentary there. He's that critical drinker can hold his liquor. Let's put it that way.
Sure thing. He also is an accomplished and published author, and he
Yes,
understands how story structure and character building works, and that lends a lot of expertise and credence to his opinions, because it's like we're not just hearing some random guy on the internet talk about it. He knows how to build a story,
right?
You know, and you know, it's like I watch a lot of reaction channels too, just because I think they're fun, but my favorite ones are always the ones where the reactor has some expertise in the field they're reacting to. Like, for example, the charismatic voice, Elizabeth Zaroff, is a world-famous opera singer, and she spends her time on YouTube breaking down other singers and how they're doing things, and like not just how they're sounding, but like the actual mechanics of the throat.
Yeah.
You know, and there's expertise to what she's doing, so I get a lot more out of that than I do off of somebody like, you know, who just likes to listen to music but doesn't really understand how it works.
Hey, the Clue channel, I just subscribed to you, buddy. Thanks so much
Okay.
for being here.
He's a good dude.
And if you could bring up the one that's 2 above that.
I'm trying.
But people are talking and it's moving.
Well, 2 above that is Lady Miss saying hello.
No, above Lady Mist.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. You know, some people seek out greatness and some people have greatness thrust upon them. It looks like Shadowhawk is trying to thrust greatness upon you, Samiel.
Yeah, it's a bit of a joke, but you know, you can see from my my underhandle there.
Yeah.
I am in fact running for president, because why choose the lesser evil?
Yeah, choose the whole evil, right?
I figure if Mike Pence thinks he's got a chance, so do I.
Oh, God. Well, I'll tell you what. From what I saw, he's actually doing better than Florida Man. Florida Man dropped to 0. He's in the lowest spot right now. Thank you, Netta. That's what I was trying to do, but everyone's already seen it by
the
now.
other comment was much further up.
Oh, gotcha,
That's why I'm
gotcha.
sitting there going, 2 about that is just Lady Miss saying hello.
Yeah. It's funny that comes that you say that and that comes up, because just before we came on, I recorded a couple videos with Pops from Pops on Pop Culture, and one of the things we were talking about was cartoons, and I was, because of what was in his background, I was talking about Underdog. In fact, I sang the Underdog theme, and so he's going to clip that and embarrass the heck out of me with that later. But I remember this one video where his arch nemesis, the Lex Luthor type character, I can't remember what his name was going door to door. He said, Simon Bar Sinister was his name. He went door to door and he would say, "Hello, I'm Simon Bar Sinister, and I want to ask for your vote for dictator." And people would slam the door in his face. When I was a kid, I didn't even know what dictator was. When I found out what a dictator was, I laughed so hard. I was in a sociology class in grade school, and I was laughing. And, why are you laughing about dictators? And I had to explain the cartoon, and my teacher was like, "Okay, yeah, that is pretty funny." And I would like for you to vote for me for dictator. Honestly, though, you think about it, and it's like, man, if I was dictator of the country, I'd straighten this out and I'd straighten that out. And then, you know, I'd step down and make sure that it went back to being a representative republic again. And then you realize, if you know your history, yeah, that's what every dictator thinks. You know, because power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah. Some of them do go into it with the best of intentions, like Julius Caesar, but he didn't step down when he said he was going to.
That's absolutely true. And see, that's the problem. And you know, I mean, you know who told the story perfectly was George Lucas. People rip on his prequel series, but he did a great job of showing how dictators become emperors, and how that go. Oh, this war that I created, that's all fake. If you put me in charge and give me absolute power, I'll get it taken care of, and then of course I will step down when I'm done. Yeah, exactly. That's how it goes.
Yeah, it never goes that way, but we can dream.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But this time it'll be different, right?
This is sucking. I asked Lawrence to DM me because he's going to be an upcoming guest, and he can't DM me. He tried to DM you, Troy, and his account got locked. What did you do, Troy?
I don't know. Let me see.
I suppose that there is a limit on how many DM messages you can make in a day before it locks your account for that day.
That's true, but it's like a pretty high number, isn't it?
So yeah, and Larry doesn't usually DM that much, so I don't know why that would be. If you'd like, if you have an email, he can reach you out, put it in a private chat. I'll make sure he gets it.
Yeah, I'll do that. And you know what? If you can, on X, I'm still not used to that. If
I'm
you
not
can,
calling it that till it divorces me.
there you go. I heard some people were calling it Zed, and I was like, well, wait a minute, that's a whole different letter of the alphabet. That doesn't make any sense. I can't talk and type at the same time.
Okay, Lawrence, I just DM'd you. Can you check your DMs and make sure you can see? I just said hello.
Okay, and I just put my email in the private chat so you can get that to him, Samiel, and and if you can help us connect on.
Well, I think I was successful in DMing him, so we'll see, because I only DM people for being guests on the channel. What is my thing? Yahoo. It helps if I spell it right.
I just got an email from Disney Sheepherder, so
there.
It's not just. But then again, Disney Sheepherder, we might already be connected.
Okay.
Because I'm following you.
Lawrence and I are now connected. Woohoo!
Oh, good deal. Good deal.
It usually, Twitter X, whatever they're calling it, is weird. It doesn't always let me reach out to people first. They have to reach out to me. I don't know why. So it's like, okay, whatever. This time I got to reach out first. Nice.
There are some weird things coming down the pike too that are affecting a lot of the actual mechanical algorithmic stuff too. Like they're changing some things and it's affecting other things because, as it turns out, they built it like a big bowl of spaghetti to begin with. Everything's connected to everything else.
Yep. Yeah, it's weird, but and that's the other thing too. It's like we're doing this to protect you. Don't help me. I don't want your help. I can take care of myself. I'm not one of these snowflakes that needs you to protect me. If someone wants to send me a message, let them send me a message. And if there's somebody I don't want to talk to because they're trying to catfish me, I can block them. Not a problem.
Clue, I prefer to call them expletives.
I like that.
Expletives, there you go. So, do we re-X instead of retweet? And if I tweet out 3 times in a day, is that triple X? I mean,
And Lawrence got his channel fixed. It wanted him to authenticate his channel.
Oh, yeah. Good.
But we're connected, so yay.
Good.
Good deal.
And, you got to change something in the settings? Yeah. Well, us old farts may not be too clear on that. So maybe, somebody trying.
And the biggest challenge for me on YouTube was learning technology that I should have learned 20 years ago and didn't.
But you know what? There's also it's triple X. Yeah. it's also like about a month ago, they did something overnight, and they weren't letting you direct message to anyone unless you were verified or whatever. And it's like, no, I don't want to do that. And it was anyone that you weren't already connected to. So I'm in a bunch of direct message groups to say, I've just gone live, can you get this out, that kind of stuff. I may not be necessarily connected to all 72 people in that group. I'm not even kidding. Spanish version is, we're not going to say that on our channel, because if Mikey the Mexican Iron Man or Paulie Latino Slant, listens in, their ears will start to itch. No, that's bad.
One of my co-hosts is one of my co-hosts on Fridays is Know Me Without You. She'll get a big kick out of that. I'm definitely telling her.
Yeah, there you go. Oh no, that's a joke that's definitely worth running with. But that is so frustrating. That whole thing. We want you to change your whole language to accommodate us.
Yeah, it's like, and don't be offended on my behalf.
Please, yeah, exactly. I mean, and that's just it. It's not the Latin community that's getting upset. It's everyone else.
Well, I'm not.
Okay, you know what I mean.
But I don't make up names for other people or cultures or whatever.
Well, my mother always said that there is really only one way to look at it. In order to be offended, you have to take offense. It's a choice. Yeah,
absolutely right. It's really easy to not be offended. Just don't give a crap. Honestly, that's all you gotta do. I am not offended because I don't care.
Julia Steen says I gave up the check mark.
There you go. But so good. This was, this is kind of what it's all about. It's support each other, connect, be social, build each other up. Look, if you guys, I've subscribed to all of you, so I'm going to be paying attention to see if you're putting out content. If you're not putting out content, that's okay too. But if you do start putting out content and you want, a little plug or a push or suggestions or advice or just get the word out about your channel, let us know. That's kind of what we're here for. In addition to all the other crap we spew all the time. Age of Boomer, my designated driver for Friday nights. Welcome. Good to see you, my friend. Glad you're here.
Absolutely.
Sometimes people are just getting home from work during the week and coming on and saying hi.
Exactly.
Those of you that have other jobs besides the YouTube, which I think is most of us, to be honest with you.
Now, in case you missed our guest's link, that's what we're trying to think of, in the chat, it is pinned below.
Yep.
So you can always go there, click on that, check out his channel. Lots of good stuff there.
Check him out, and I'm sure that if you go to his...
hundreds of hours of podcasts.
Yeah. Just do a little search for some of the topics you'd be interested in. Also, I'm sure you probably have, the list of channels that you support and whatnot, so make sure you go check that out. Subscribe to, what's Amir's channel? Linus Exiled?
It is Linus Exiled, yes.
Linus Exiled. Make sure you're subscribed to that. Check her out on Saturday nights after you do the rewatch with us. We'll make sure that we do a raid on Saturday night. We'll just do a Netters Network raid, and we'll all go in and spam highs to her. And that's how we support each other, right?
Absolutely.
Samiel, so you're pretty regular. What have you got coming up in the next week so people can get it on their calendars and remember to just put it, every week?
Well, in regards to my own stuff, Lawrence, Nomi, and I have a show called Abyssal Musings on Friday nights. We start at approximately 9:30 p.m. Mountain Time every Friday. That's tomorrow night. That's more pop culture oriented, more just kind of like random stuff kind of oriented. And then on Saturday afternoons, we have Screaming Into the Void, which is the flagship show. where it's a bit of a wider panel discussion about a lot of different things at 4 p.m. Mountain Time. And we are this week delving into the Maui fire. So we'll see where that goes. Also, be aware, folks, we do make a lot of really off-color jokes, often at each other's expense. So if you're not cool with that, just be aware that that's a thing. And then on Sundays, we do Star Trek Engage, where we are currently going up on episode 3, where No Man Has Gone Before, of the original series. We're planning to work our way all the way up through at least Voyager, possibly Enterprise. So this is like a 14-year project because we're doing one episode a week.
Yeah.
And otherwise, you might see me pop up on the Ren Nerds channel on Mondays, on Legion Talk on Friday nights before my show, and then Lioness Exiled every time she streams, usually Saturday nights. She did one the other night. In the middle of the week for some reason.
She had a bone to pick that she wanted to get.
And we got to see her put together furniture.
Yeah, exactly.
We got to see her almost cut her finger off on camera. That's what we got to see.
And get her hair cut.
I almost get her hair torn out. Yeah, exactly. Tell her she's got to be careful with those power tools. Yeah. But no, Clue is absolutely right. Amira is awesome. She's good people, and I keep telling everybody, in that chat, be gentlemen when you go into that channel. Okay, it's her like Samiel said in the green room. Hey, your channel, your house, your rules. If you're going into Amira's channel, watch the language, watch the the dirty talk. She's a lady, okay. And Boomer, what do we do when a lady walks in a room? We stand up, right? Good. So that's how it should be.
Or she'll put you in the naughty corner.
Oh yeah, she'll put you in the naughty corner, exactly. And well, she should. She's. I don't remember who it was the other night. She does this from time to time. Someone will say something on a stream in the panel, and I'll be like, I'll look at Netter and I'll be like, no, he didn't. And all of a sudden he's gone. I'm like, good. She threw him out. That's the way it should be.
I know exactly who you're talking about because she does it to him every time he's on the show.
Well, it's like I'm listening to the guy, and I was starting to get
I knew where he was going. I'm like, I'm cringing already, and then he says it, and it's like, oh, dude.
And it's like, nope,
dude.
Nope.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I mean, and in fact, there was something Amira said, and I'm not even gonna obliquely reference it because it'll put people on that path of thought. But as soon as she started talking about a specific topic, which was completely innocuous, but I knew how everyone was going to take it, I immediately typed in the chat, "Be good, people," and of course they weren't.
Yeah. I'll be honest. I'm kind of guilty of running with some of those jokes myself. But yeah, I know who you're referring to. I'm not going to call his name out specifically because that's not what I'm here to do. Is rub dirt in someone else's eye or anything. But yeah, there are a few people who she has on regularly who could learn a thing or two about maybe keeping some of their thoughts to themselves. That's all I'm saying.
I get. Look, I can be juvenile myself. I have a lot of the same thoughts, but it's knowing who your audience is. And on my channel, yeah, you can make those jokes. On Amira's channel, don't do it, guys. Just don't. And making the pop culture references, I've pretty much learned. Yeah, I'm keyed in with the pop culture references. Amira's not. She doesn't follow certain things. She's not going to get that joke. Don't do it. Wrong audience, Just saying.
Yeah, and oftentimes it's just a matter of reading the room and all that. Like, if you come to my channel and I notice there are new people in the chat, the first thing I will do is do something horrifically offensive just so that they get used to the idea that it might
If that offended you, maybe this isn't the channel for you. Just saying.
Just, and it's nothing against them, but I want them to know what they're getting into, because occasionally I will bring up something or show something on screen that they're just like, okay, I wasn't prepared for that. And I was like, yeah, well, now you are.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm sorry if I interrupted you. Is that kind of how your week is looking, Sam?
Oh yeah, that's
okay.
For right now, that's the plan for the remainder of the week. Yeah.
Good. So and I'm going to keep harping on this. Everybody, make sure you're subscribed to our guest. I'm going to real quick, I've been promoting myself all night tonight, but tomorrow night, 9 Central, that's 10 Eastern. Every Friday, last call. Get together, have some drinks at my place. It'll be a lot of fun tomorrow. My guest bartender is Tony Roberts from Analog Toys. It'll be 10 in the morning for him in Australia, but he's going to come talk about toys, obviously, serving in the military, you know, growing up in the UK and then moving to Australia. And it's going to be a lot of fun. He's a big channel. I feel like it's a big get, but he's clearly good people.
And Troy's going to have an alcoholic beverage.
And I, of course, will be having an alcoholic beverage. You don't have to drink alcohol when you come to my channel, but I would encourage you to drink something because it's a 2-hour stream, and you should at least stay hydrated. So that's tomorrow night. Saturday night, we're back right here on Netters Network, 9 Central, 10 Eastern, for...
We're going to be watching... on Retro Cinema, we'll be watching Casper
the Friendly Ghost. Bill Pullman, Christina Ricci, and Devin Bonsoir.
And we will have the Cosme link pinned to the top, so if you don't own a copy, you can watch along with us still because we'll be showing it.
You can open that in one tab. You can have us open in another tab so you can hear our commentary. And it'll be just like a bunch of friends sitting together watching a movie together. That's
and making
Saturday
fun of
night.
It.
Yeah, exactly. Well, maybe. So that's Saturday. Sunday, deleted scenes. Let me think. Let me do my maths. So that's 6. No, wait a minute. 8 is 7. 7 is 6 Central, 7 Eastern on Deleted Scenes channel. For unscripted deleted scenes. If you could drop a link and tell us what your topic is for Sunday night, make sure we hang out with him for at least an hour because he is the have a Mai Tai in honor of Hawaii. Well, here's the thing, guys. On Friday nights, well, you don't have to wait till Friday night. You can just go to my channel. But if you buy me a drink, the link is in the description of just about every video I do. You can buy me a drink and you can tell me what you want me to drink that night, and not only will I dedicate the show to you as the host of my drink for the night, you can also request a song that I will sing for you. But I tell people that I'm 1/23rd ostrich. Give me time to walk away while they decide to whether or not they're offended. And I don't care if they're offended or not, but that gave us enough time to get Deleted Scenes to drop his link for A Different Path for Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central. See, my math was off, so thank you for getting that for me. That's because at 8 Central, 9 Eastern, on Aged Boomer's channel, join him and myself for Geeky Geezers, where we will bring you the week's geeky news, at least the stuff that we found interesting enough to talk about. And if it's the same thing that you've heard on some other YouTube channels, I'm guessing we'll probably bring at least a slightly different perspective to it for you. That is Sunday. And then from Aged Boomer's channel, back over to Deleted Scenes. That's 11:05-ish Central Time, 12:05 a.m. Monday morning on the Eastern Coast for The Other Side of Midnight. See that? It's The Other Side of Midnight because it's after midnight on the East Coast.
Yeah, I think I get it, dear.
So there you go. And that will be a great way to close out your weekend. And that's all I know about until we get back to Thursday night right here. Who is your guest next week, Netter of Netters Network?
Next week, my special guest will be our D&D game.
Our D&D game, yeah, it's CK. He's got a couple channels. He was he was on your channel before, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. His other channel,
longest at the time, was longest running superhero RPG on Earth. But he has now moved that channel over to
our D&D game.
Well, he's got two channels: our D&D game and Continuum Collective.
Something Continuum.
Yeah.
It's like, and now I'm drawing a blank on what the first word is, but 2 C's.
We'll talk about that next week, and you can subscribe to both of his channels. One of them got kind of YouTube jailed for a dumb reason. We'll talk about that. So we'll definitely bring up some of these streaming woes that we talked about tonight, but from his perspective, and that's it. Just sub deleted scenes. What's last call's link? Is that you have that in the chat or in the?
I do. I have it in the description below, but I can.
And remember,
should
hit that notification bell too. I know that Sam and I are both streaming on Friday nights, but I think we're offset because of the time zone, so you might be able to catch both of us. If you can't catch both of us, listen to who you can. Catch the other one on the rerun. That's fine too. It's all good.
That should work. If you just go on, if you go onto YouTube and just do last call with the W/Troy Pacelli, you'll find them that way.
Oh yeah, Netter dropped it, and Adega. You know what? You're late, but you can always rewind and watch from the beginning. That's fine.
True.
And you came by to encourage us. That's fine. Sam, what were you saying?
Oh, we stream pretty late on Friday nights too. So about half our audience falls asleep halfway through. It's fine. You can catch us on the replay.
Same thing happens to me. But I think because you're Mountain Time, right?
Yes, sir.
Like 2 hours before me, or 1 hour before, whatever.
I think so. Like we're 1 hour later than Pacific.
And I think that's 2 hours. So yeah, you're an hour earlier than us. So I think what happens is I think I go on first. Maybe you come hang out with me for about an hour, then you jump over to his channel or whatever. Like I said, you pick your poison, and then you catch the other one the next day. Or
it's like there are times when he's streaming and I'm not on like this. I'll have his channel open on one tab. I'll have Maxwell Entertainment on another tab.
Yeah, and like there are rewatches that I'll be doing where I'll be doing the rewatch on this tab. I've got the YouTube channel open so I can comment on another tab, and then Amira just went live, so I open up hers and come in and go, hi, I'm not really here, I'm still on my other stream, just wanted to say hi. And I have no idea if anyone even saw it, but
in case other link,
yeah, I know you do.
Sorry, in case that other link for Troy didn't work, I'm dropping a different one. Try that one.
Yeah.
The other one didn't seem to make a link, so.
Alrighty. So that's all I've got. Netter?
Anything else for you, Samuel?
Last words?
I know one of the things Troy mentioned about how I run the show on Saturdays, it does get bleak. It does go to some very dark places sometimes, but how I try to kind of look at the bright side a little bit. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I'm a natural pessimist. It's just
so you're never disappointed, right?
Right. But I do try to end my shows with a little saying to help everybody feel a little bit better about the dark and dreary forest we just trudged through. Remember, folks, it could always be worse. It could be raining flaming cobras.
Flaming cobras.
There you have it.
Yeah, Robert Barnes always says, remember, folks, it could be worse. Genghis Khan could be knocking at your door.
Yeah.
If you know your history, that's pretty bad. You don't have it that bad.
Of course, in this day and age, open the door and you got your gun handy.
Well, that's true. That is true.
Anyway, anything?
No, that's all I got.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. I was glad to have you. I'd love to have you on again.
Yeah.
In the future. It's every Thursday, 9 Central, 10 Eastern. So yeah, I'd love to have you back on again when you have time. And for anyone that is still here in the chat, I am still looking for guests. Currently, I am on October 5th and beyond. So if you're interested in being a guest,
to come promote your channel in October or later, let her know. Send her a DM.
My Twitter handle is in the description below.
Yep.
Basically, it's at Netters Network, but there's no spaces and no apostrophe in Netters, so just squish it all together. And yeah, as long as you have a YouTube channel that you'd like to promote and you have your own content on there, I'm happy to have you as a guest.
Absolutely.
So that, let me know.
There you go.
And I'm always interested in hearing about new channels, because I have found some really great channels just from people reaching out to me saying, I'd love to be a guest on your show. It's like, great. And then I check out their channel and it's like, wow, this stuff is fascinating, you know?
Exactly. So, there we go.
And of course,
Yes.
as I always say to end the stream, we can talk amongst ourselves, and that's all well good and fun. But it's so much more fun when you guys are joining us in the chat and you're dropping your comments and your questions, your trivia, just acting silly, whatever it may be. And it doesn't feel like we're separated by miles or continents in some cases. It feels like we're hanging out in the same room, enjoying each other's company, just having a great time. And you aren't just our friends. You are our family. We love you guys and we appreciate you so much. I mean, you can be anywhere right now and you choose to be here with us, and that is so encouraging. So I do want to thank you again for being here with us, and we will definitely see you next time. Bye now.